Hi there, my name is Taylor Lidster and I am a third year PhD candidate in biological sciences. I've had about 3 years of experience with teaching assistantships. The main TA position that I typically get is for a lab demonstrator. So with the biology program, we assist students in completing the lab component of their class. The very first TA-ship that I had gotten when I first started here at Brock was a first year biology lab position. And I've done first year biology and I've also done third year biology, so I have a bit of experience across the board for that. And what I found most noticeable about the first year labs and the students that came into first year was that they lacked a little bit of confidence and independence in completing their lab components. So the great thing about first year biology and being the teaching assistant for that is that you see a lot of personal and scholarly growth. It's really rewarding to be able to see these students grow and learn throughout the entire semester. But one thing that I did notice is that first year students typically are very nervous when they first start, and a lot of them are hesitant to interact with the TA because they are worried that they're doing something wrong or that they might make a mistake. So what I try to do, and in my experience, is that when I first walk into a lab and interact with them, I try to make sure that they realize that I am open to communication and to questions. They can ask me whatever they want, and as students they can approach me because I myself am also a student. Another thing that I noticed with first year students is that a lot of the time they come unprepared, maybe because they're overwhelmed with the amount of work they have. They're not super adjusted to the university life, and when students come to the lab unprepared, it makes it a little difficult for them to complete the lab component and to be successful and get good grades. So in my experience, as students go from first year to second to third into the later years of university, they begin to learn how to adapt to the heavy workload and how to prepare in advance. But I think what would be really great for us is to equip them with the tools necessary in order for them to, right off the bat, come into a first year lab and be prepared and be open and willing to connect with the TAs to better assist them and to allow them to be more successful in their laboratory component. The reason why I decided to apply for this position, for this volunteering position, is because I actually was familiar with the retention grant and some of the initiatives that this grant is going towards. I am a part of a program called Lab Skills Plus, which is run by a faculty member here at Brock University. Jacinta Dano is the main faculty member who runs this program, and what it aims to do is to help students that are in undeclared majors, so students that are struggling with school who are on academic probation, in order to help them and better assist them in their classes and to get them back on track. So Lab Skills Plus is something that I've had experience with over the past couple of years, and it's been a really great and rewarding program. I've been able to see a lot of growth in students in their undergrad who were initially really struggling with the workload and with content in biology and other sciences, and I firsthand saw how this type of program was used to better the students here at this university. And so when I was scrolling through my email and I saw this opportunity, I thought that I was a well-suited candidate to apply for this position. So something that I would say to students, let's say tomorrow if I were to have a new lab come in with a bunch of new students, the first thing I typically do is introduce myself, and I try to relieve the pressure of coming into a new lab and the stressful environment of not being familiar with your surroundings. I introduce myself. I try to communicate with them to tell them that I am a student as well. Being a PhD student does not mean that I know everything. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I can totally relate to them. I know where they're coming from because I too was an undergrad student not too long ago, and I try to break that barrier so that they can feel comfortable to come and ask me questions if they need, but also to feel comfortable to come up to me if they have any issues or any problems or accidents that happened. I think there are a lot of students that have a great amount of potential within them, but it's kind of obstructed by the fear of communicating with their TAs or asking questions if they're startled or maybe stuck on something in particular. So the biggest thing is to kind of break that barrier, make the lab environment welcoming, and also to let them know if they ever need to contact me via email or even after lab for some sort of meeting, that's totally fine too. Over the past couple years, I've noticed that the students that have the most potential, that are afraid to come talk to TAs, bring that throughout most of their university career, and so I think that would be great if we could break those barriers from the very beginning. Then the student would be successful throughout their entire 4 years here at Brock. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at this video and to kind of get a background on why I feel like I'm a good candidate for this volunteer position, and have a great day.